This is an underground art form. House music, electronic music, rave culture, PLUR, the whole concept of PLUR, which is so funny that people are talking about it and it's like making this comeback. You know what I mean? Like PLUR was
respect, if you don't know.
PLUR is peace, love, unity, respect, for sure. And it was like what people would put on a flyer at a rave. You'd say they're like, hey, by the way, PLUR, that's your etiquette when you're in our rave. You know, show respect and unity and love and peace. And generally that was followed, but somehow that turned into wearing a shitload of colorful rainbow bracelets and sucking a pacifier.
Yeah,
because we were all high on ecstasy. You know, I mean, most of us, a lot of us. I got high on ecstasy.
Speak for yourself.
It was the 90s. Okay. Take it easy. Anyway, but it's funny that we're getting back to that. I wonder if the binkies, that's what they call it, when you're sucking on a pacifier or, you know, huffing on some, what is it called? Vicks vapor rub. Whatever. We were kids, okay? Anyway, but it's funny that's making a comeback. I think those are really words to live by, you know? That's great.
And I think we need to act on that, on peace, love, unity, respect, and not just say it. You know, like I feel like everyone's trying to use these rave tactics. Oh, we're all one race, the human race, all that type of shit. I'm like, no, fuck that. Like, obviously, we're one race, you know what I mean? But obviously, there is another race, people of color, that are darker skinned that have had it way motherfucking harder. Excuse my French. No, but I'm very frustrated and like kind of tired of having to like tiptoe around the issues and try to be so like likable. Cause I feel like we need to be beyond that. You know, my stance on a lot of this is it's not up for debate for me anymore. I'm not debating all lives matter or Black lives matter. Either you're down with the cause or you're not. And if you're not, that's cool. You don't have to come see me DJ. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to be a part of any of this. But I know that there's a gang of people who are on this train and really want to make real change and know how to accept the embarrassing past that we come from and are committed to making things better. You know what I mean? That's all this is about. Like Black Lives Matter to me is like on some positivity shit, you know, like also being pro-Black. You know, I feel like people are kind of afraid of that, or they're so quick to say you're, you know, pull the reverse racism on you. Being pro-Black is not being anti-white. You know, it's okay to be pro-Black, especially, you know, with all we've gone through, you know, since the beginning of time. Like, why can't we just rep our shit and be proud of it? It doesn't mean that, you know, calling it Black music doesn't mean no one else can listen to it or we're trying to take it away and we can't share it. It just means it was birthed in our community. And this is something that we're proud of. It's a Black art form, you know, and it's just mind blowing to me that people just can't accept that, or they get really in their feelings. Oh, this is so divisive. Oh, my God. Like, no, I'm just like, dude, chill. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's like the oldest racist trick in the book, just to be like, well, it's not, there's no racism. You're creating the racism. That's reverse racism. That's like just not, but that's not true, because the racism exists. You have to acknowledge the racism before you can move on to anything else. So until you can acknowledge that there's racism, it's like you can't really have a perspective.
Exactly. And, you know, and for the argument of like, oh, it's in the past, just forget about it. So what? You're free now. But it's like, we're still feeling the effects of that. The civil rights movement, MLK, all that happened a couple miles from where I live. Like, you know, in my parents' lifetime, like these aren't issues that are like that old, you know, like some of the stuff is still like recent. So we're still working to dismantle all of the systemic racial issues in the world. And we probably won't see this solved in my lifetime. I've already accepted that, you know, it takes years, you know, but
generation.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we just need to be willing to do what we can while we are here and be a voice and not be afraid to speak out on the issues. And in regards to dance music, I wanted to touch on something Frankie from Dance Woman said the other day. It's just like, stand for something other than yourself. Like, to people who are worried about their career or getting gigs or getting booked, fuck all that shit, because all that is on hold right now anyway. If there's any time to not worry about your career and really worry about the greater cause of dance music, you know, this is the time to do it. This is not a time to be scared and worried about, oh, you know, no. If you're fighting for the right thing, in my opinion, you're not going to be canceled. You know what I mean? Like, people fighting for the right things, like, yeah, like it's gonna be okay. You know, I think we're moving in the right direction with that. But I guess I just want to say I would encourage people who are afraid or feel like, you know, they don't have a voice. You can have a voice. You don't have to, you know, play a role just to be accepted, which I've, you know, picked up on long ago. You know, I'm never going to be a yes man or someone. Yeah, I'm not going to just go along with the flow to be, oh, Ash, we love her. Oh, da da da. No, I'm gonna keep shit real. And if you like me because I'm that good, and if you don't, that's great too. We can weed out the good and the bad. Like,